Hey sis, I was actually getting ready for bed and I was like, let me hop on here and have a quick talk with my gals. We need a quick little FaceTime chit chat. On a more than serious note, have you ever felt like you were just dealt not the best hand in life? Whether it's your background, where the city you're from, just how situations come about. It always seems as if you got the short hand of the stick. If so, I know that feeling all too well. It's like you're racing just to get to the starting line while everybody else is already at this certain point. It's like you racing, to get there, and you don't understand why your beginnings have to be so hard, or why is it so humbling. And ultimately, it's just overcoming life's adversity. So what we're going to talk about today is playing the cards dealt even when you don't like the hand. And the more I think about this subject, or this topic, should I say, or what it is that you're going through, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. How do I stay positive and have faith? What is faith? Because sometimes we be like, I have faith, but we don't even really exercise it or truly know what faith is. Like, what if I just don't know what to do? What do I do? Because it's hard out here, and I'm trying to upgrade myself. I'm trying to level up. I'm leveling up. I'm upgrading myself. I'm in this process, but it just doesn't seem that things are moving in a way that I like them to move. Keep in mind how I worded that. But on a serious note, the first thing that you're going to have to think about is how to stay positive. And I know. This is not about toxic positivity, but sometimes you really have to speak it before you see it. The key to staying positive is simply making a decision. I don't know how many times I've watched videos on reprogramming my brain and doing this and doing that and da-da-da and da-da-da. I put my glasses on. Sometimes you really just have to choose. I remember there was a time I was on the phone with my dad, and at that point in my life, depression was whipping my... Like, legitly, it was taking me down through there. It was very hard to keep pushing. So I was like, how do people be happy? It's like, you got to choose it. You got to choose it. And then this is the time where self-awareness starts kicking in, and the ability to monitor your own thoughts. There's going to be times where you're going to have to be positive even when you don't even believe yourself. It's not easy, but eventually it gets easier. It's just like working a muscle in a sense, Muscles are built in points of weakness. You work out till failure, you're going to build muscle, and then you have to feed it right with protein in that case. But in this case, you're going to feed it with better habits and thoughts. So I would say the first thing you're going to have to do is program your brain to be positive. That doesn't mean that you're going to have a negative thought. You're not going to have any negative thoughts, but when one comes by, you let it fly away. And something that really helped me in this process of transforming my life and working through adversity was when a negative thought came to my head, I literally pictured it flying away and me bringing something else in. Like, I physically, I'm like, oh man, I ain't never good enough. No, that ain't me. I'm always enough. I have more than I need. Everything's going to be okay. You got to keep going. You get the chance to keep going. You're here. And it's going to be days I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, it's just going to be easy. I know my glasses got that glare, y'all. I might take them off again. But I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the easiest thing to do. But anything worth having is not going to always be easy. And then we're going to get back into like reprogramming our brain. Even though that is part of the process, make sure that you have all the ammunition that you need of positive thoughts. Tuck the word of God in your heart. Everything that it is that you need. Find your favorite scripture and tuck it in, and engrave it in your brain. Mine is Ephesians 3:20. So I always it allows me to take comfort in God's plan for me. It's like God can do exceedingly and abundantly more than I can ever ask or think of. So that means his plan is always greater than mine. Even when I think my plan is falling apart, his plan is always greater than mine. So there's nothing for me to worry about because I know it all works out for my good. I said go big, God said go enormous. That's another thing that you should be doing, like when you're reprogramming your brain. Make sure you have a plethora of positive affirmations, positive thoughts, positive beliefs. new beliefs, even if you don't believe them yet. You have to believe them. Also, take a time and practice gratitude, because things could be so much different. Just when you think it's worse, it can be even more worse. I almost said worser. But it can be even more worse on a serious note. And I know some people got situations like, how much more worse can it get? Don't even ask that. Just say, if you're at rock bottom, the only way there is to go is up. And when you're facing adversity, a lot of times the world will beat on you so much that you rely on your motivation. And that's something that you'd have to outgrow, because it's going to be, you got your motivation versus your discipline. I was listening to this song, and the singer was like, there's only 2 times to do it: when I feel like it and when I don't. And that has been engraved into my brain. When I say there's only 2 times for you to do it: when you feel like it and when you don't. So during these times of adversity, sometimes you can't rely on your motivation, babe. You cannot rely on your motivation, but what you can rely on is your ability to be disciplined and commit. You want something different for yourself, you're going to have to just think about it. Don't even think about everything else. Don't make this all big, thought out plan. Just take it day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, step by step, okay? That's all I need you to do. I don't need you to have this intricate thing where you're just looking at the big picture and the big goal and how different everything is supposed to be. Take it small steps at a time and make decisions like, okay, I think this will get me closer to the direction I'm trying to go. This will get me closer, like decision by decision by decision. If you can break down your discipline in just like small decisions on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, your life will be a whole 180 in no time. And I do want to take this moment to empathize, because I understand. If don't nobody understand, whew. Yes, I understand. I truly get you. Like I said, sometimes life, it does feel like that, but it doesn't have to always be like that. And then that leads me to learn how to accept your reality while building a future. When you accept that you are now present, a beautiful thing happens when you're present. Awesome things happen when you're present. Because with you being present, you now have control to take care of the future. When you're not in the present and you're thinking about the future all the time, now you're anxious. When you're not in the present and you're thinking about the past all the time, now you're depressed. And you're never going to take control of the situation that there is at hand. You're either in the fight or flight system, you're flustered, you're out of sync with whatever it is that you're trying to be or that you're really wanting. It's not going to come I wouldn't even say how you expect it. I'm not going to say it's not going to come, because sometimes, there's exceptions to the rule. If you accept where you are at the moment and go back to those small decisions that I told you to make on a day-to-day basis, you'll be where you want to be in no time. And I also, I just it's so many things that I just want to tell you guys, because if I know a thing or two about adversity, maybe a thing or 100, okay? And also having the mindset, I want you to have 2 mindsets. 3, remember this when you go through anything. Anytime a problem presents itself, don't feel bad for me. Feel bad for the problem. 2, it keeps fleeing my mind for some odd reason, so that means I really got to say it to y'all. Always know that you don't go through life, you experience life, but most importantly, you grow through life. GROW. You don't go GO. You grow through life. It's funny because every situation, every piece of adversity that you are going through, you do not know. You do not know, or you do not yet understand how this will allow you to be so fruitful. So whatever it is that you may be going through at the moment in your next season. Okay, right now you're getting planted and all the dirt and the soil is getting placed on top of you. But in a minute, once you sprout up, you're going to be able to give those fruits to other people. And I'm just going to give you a quick example. There was one time in college, I lost all my friends. COVID hit literally like a few months after that. So I really was just like by myself all the time. My boyfriend broke up with me. I was not living at home. I was in my first apartment, and I was just really for real lonely, and I battled with that feeling for a long time. But as time went on, after all the tears, all the late nights being up, all the fighting my own demons, the having to work through the therapy sessions, after everything that I went through in that season, I eventually learned how to take myself on dates. When it was a party, I knew how to go to a party by myself. When it was time to go to a probate on campus, I'll go to the probate on campus. I remember one of my friends from college, or acquaintances, should I say, it was a probate for the noobs on campus, and she was like, "Who you here with?" And I was like, "I'm here by myself." She said, "What? I need to do that. I'm never going nowhere by myself." And leading to 3-4 years later, after that, I've moved to an entire new state by myself. I live in an apartment by myself, and I've done that for the last 2 to 3 years in an entirely different state, an entirely different city, where I have no family and knew no one. But I was comfortable with who I am. I haven't even had a man inside my apartment. That's how alone that I could be, and I can be in solitude and be content and happy and grateful and loving that is my reality. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be alone. But if I didn't go through that season 2, 3, 4 years ago, I would not know how to hold my own being out here. So that's why I said, like, a lot of times we don't understand. But when you're going through this adversity, trust and believe it puts you in a completely different predicament than you think it would. It's serving you, you know what I'm saying? You're just in a season where you're getting seeded. But when it's time to fruit, you would understand exactly why you went through what you went through. You know, sometimes you ask yourself these questions like, well, did I really have to learn like that? Did I have to go through all this pain and da-da-da-da? And quite frankly, I can't give you an answer to if you had to or if you didn't. But what I can say is you do not allow circumstances to rule you. You rule the circumstances and create opportunity for yourself. You're always the student and life's the teacher. What can I do, you know, in this moment? What am I learning in this moment? Is it that life is teaching me, and how can I apply it in future circumstances? So accept your reality while building the future. And I don't know if I said all three, but if you ever see a problem, don't feel bad for me, feel bad for the problem. Why does that other one keep leaving, y'all? I'll drop them in the comments because I'm not going to keep, I'm not going to keep like blanking out over here. I also need you to know you have everything you need. It may feel like you ain't got it all. I'm on the verge of tears right now. But it may feel like you don't have everything that you need. It may feel that you lacked a lot. You may feel that it didn't have to be this hard, or you just may feel a lot of things and just like not understanding and why did these battles choose me? I didn't sign up to be God's strongest soldier. I didn't. That's just how the cards were dealt. And I'm not even going to say unfortunately. I'm going to say fortunately for you. But through all this, never allow the world to make you hard. Never allow your situations, never allow your situations, your shortcomings, your adversity, don't allow any of it to ever harden your heart. Guard your heart with everything that you can. Keep your kindness. Don't allow this world to make you cold, because I'm telling you, it will pay off. Let me put it this way. Anytime you are watching a movie or listening to a story or catching up on that Netflix show that you love so much, the protagonist, the main character, what do they always have that makes it such a good movie? A problem. They have some type of adversity, something working against them, something for them to be triumphant with at the end. And I'm telling you, put yourself in there. You are the main character in your story. This is your world, and we're just living in it. And I want you to focus on what you do have. If you focus on what you do have opposed to what you don't, it takes you out of lack and places you into abundance. So now you're not constantly rolling with the punches of life, but instead you punching back. You hitting back. Eventually you gonna win. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really just allow abundance to take over everything in you. So when you focus on what you do have, more is going to come. You have everything that you need. You said, oh, you want to own this big company. Imagine if it's like, this is life. Scenario, analogy. You want to own the biggest cake company in the world. Okay? Now you got Susie over here. Her dad's amazing. He got money. He buys her a bakery right off the rip. And she already has a streamline and da-da-this and da-da-da-that. And it's just working for her. So now she's on her way to owning a big cake company. And then there's you. You were born with a loving family and household that didn't have much. God gave you the ability to cook your butt off. And you started selling these cakes and everybody loves them. And eventually, the next step comes and you go off to whatever college, or you start selling it full time once you graduate. And now everybody loves these cakes. All they hear is yada 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 cakes, Ashley's cakes, Tiffany's cakes, Aaliyah's cakes, whoever. You don't understand why it had to be so hard, because Joy, Ashley, Lynn, whatever her name is, Daddy done put her on, and she feels like she's out your league, okay? It's like, oh, she already taken off, but oh, now your business is picked up. You're able to save some money, put back. You go buy you a little bakery. It ain't the best. It ain't this. It ain't that. But when they tell you it's that mom and pop shop, it's the hole in that wall. Like, oh, okay. When I come here, I know I'm gonna get a good cake. I don't want to go to little Lenny. What's her name? What we gonna call her? Lynn Ashley. I don't want to go to Lynn Ashley's because, she done franchised it. It just tastes like a regular little cake. But I'm gonna come over here to yours, and I'm gonna have something that I feel is filled with love. Now, eventually, you're making bank at your bakery, and now you got a system set up, and then everything starts happening exponentially. But you was and when you first started, you was so busy looking at Lynn Ashley, thinking like, oh, she had it all together and stuff like that. Lynn Ashley, she probably doing good in her own league, or she finna file bankruptcy, whatever it is, ain't got nothing to do with you. But you had everything you needed. Your journey was different, but you had everything you needed. You were the best cake baker, business owner, franchise owner, whatever it is. You became the biggest. But at that time, you didn't see it, but there was so much more that you created. You had patience, you had kindness, you had love. You grew all these fruits in the process because you didn't skip anything in that process, because that process is yours. Now you got a story to tell that millions and other people would like and stuff like that. You was worried about Lynn Ashley because she started off like this. That was her cards deal. We don't know what she got going on over there and what she going through, but the cards that you dealt are perfect for you and your story, because now you've inspired someone. Sometimes your adversity is bigger than you. And I need a lot of people to understand that. Like, when you go through things and life don't seem this, sometimes you got to keep going, not just for yourself, but for all the people that's dependent on you. And it's not to put a weight on your shoulder. That's a badge of honor, because to whom much is given, much is required. So rule your circumstances and create opportunities, but you have everything that you need, sis, and always know that. Another thing is always focus on the solutions, never the problem. That just ties back into being into abundance and lack and all that, as we talked about. But when you focus on the solution will find you to whatever it is that you're going through. When you are going through adversity, I need you to have faith. You may ask me, what is faith? Remember at the beginning, when we first started talking, I said sometimes you got to speak it before you see it. Faith is belief in the things that are unseen. So even when you don't see it, you got to believe it. I know what I want with my life. I know where I see it going. I know what God has for me is either greater than these desires put in my heart, but I know what's in my heart and where I see myself going, even though it's not in my face right now. I'm not sitting on Oprah's chair right now. I'm not being interviewed on some major platform right now. I'm not accepting a Nobel Peace Prize right now. I'm not accepting Emmy right now in this moment, or whatever accolade it is that I desire. I'm not on the Forbes list right now, but I know I am. Not even that I can. I know I am. Maybe not right now. Maybe a little later than what this current present moment is. But it's coming. It's there. It's mine. It's been mine. It was mine before I even thought it was mine. And I need you to believe that. Believe who you are. But I accept where I am right now. These little moments, because of these little present moments right here, right now, an accumulation of my story. It was never about where I want to go, but it's about the journey to get there. And that's where everything is. Because once you get to the end of the story, you know they won, and you watching the movie, you be like, I knew it. That joy lasts for 5 minutes, but it was you watching the plot, watching everything unfold. It was that was what had you at the edge of your seat. That's what had you smiling. That's what had you, man. That's what got you riled up. You know what I'm saying? That's where all the emotion was evoked. That's where the enjoyment was. The enjoyment was never watching the end of the movie. The enjoyment was actually going through the story, going through the plot. Well, I want to leave you off with this. So hopefully this answers your question when it's all said and done. What do I do to get through adversity? Well, this is what you should do, sis. Seek mentorship. And mentorship is not going to always look the same. I do believe in letting a mentor choose you, but you might go through a season where YouTube is your mentor, and that's okay. Where books will be your mentor, and that's okay. Eventually the right person and situation will find you, but look up to people who's in the position that you want to be in, or take pieces and parts of their story, because I don't fully believe in emulating someone 100%, because there's always going to be something that's not necessarily for you but work for them. But there's a plethora of information out here. So sometimes the internet has to be your mentor. And I'm not saying just social media in that sense, but what I'm saying is, finding a like-minded individual to follow, to help guide you and allow you to follow certain principles. I'm a strong believer, if you search for it, it'll find you. I used to want mentors all the time. Now, everybody want to be my mentor. I ain't gonna hold you. So, do with that what you may. Look into your community resources. Whatever problem that you are trying to solve within yourself, especially if you live in a major city, but if you live in a smaller one, find somebody and ask. There's so many nooks and crannies and stuff that you don't know that goes on around you. But you see, one thing about me, I'm not scared to ask. I'm not scared to look. And I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to keep looking. I don't take no for an answer. Clock it, okay? Hello. Don't take no for an answer. Look into your community resources, whether that's writing somebody. And I know it sounds cliche, like, girl, what, you be saying the crazy stuff, but for real though, like, write somebody in the city council, write someone in the Department of Health, and ask them like what programs, initiatives do they have, or whatever it is, that aligns with whatever vision that it is that you have. You can be in college right now, a first-gen student, you need scholarships. The scholarships that's on that college website is not the only scholarships they have. So I need you to go to the financial aid office. I need to go to your dean. I need you to go to whoever you need to go to and ask. Open your mouth, use your words. Words are powerful. Like, when you go searching for it, it will find you. I've said it like 8 times now. When going through adversity, to be real, you guys, sometimes you just need therapy. I tried therapy and quit almost 3 times before I actually started going to therapy. And the 3rd time when I quit, I was literally in the building and I was with my therapist, and I just couldn't connect with her. She was white and I'm a black woman, and I just couldn't connect with her. I was walking outside the building and I seen a black lady, and I said, hey, it was 2, but it was this one particular that I just drawn to. Her name was Tiffany. And I was like, hey, I'd like for her to be my mentor. How can I, not my mentor, my therapist, how can I book her? And I did away with that old therapist. I found Tiffany, and I loved it. It was life-changing for me. I think it was very beneficial. So I'm always an advocate for therapy. I also said it again, but search for answers, and the answers will find you. But last but certainly not least, you're going to have to lean on God. You're going to have to find sometimes you're going to have to find willpower that you ain't got. You're going to have to derive from your source, whatever it is that you call God, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever he is to you. If you consider him the universe, whatever they may be, God, the source, draw your power from him, because that's what you need sometimes. Sometimes you can't do it alone. Most times you can't do it alone, but it can be done. And I want you to know that. But this is how you overcome adversity and learn how to play your cards, even when the cards dealt don't seem that good. I hope this helped you, sis. But that is how you're going to get through your adversity. Even when life doesn't feel its best, I want you to know that you got this. Stay encouraged, sis. And I love you. Good night. Auntie tired. So let's get out of here.